Welcome to the FPL USA Press Play Podcast. You got Bucks joining from Brooklyn and handsome Brian, not at all evil, joining from the West Coast out in Santa Barbara. Chinny, how the hell are you?
Doing well, buddy. Doing well. You know, FPL is kind of in the mud. It's been a drab couple of game weeks. I was expecting to rise in the ranks with my triple cap and bench boost, and lo and behold, you do all this planning and the games just end up with no points in them. And even for a double game week, we're not even close to our target scores of 100. So, a bit on the abysmal side for that. But in other news, we got some little ones soon to be entering the world. So a lot of my time and focus has been getting some nursery prep. I know we have a few other friends in our group chat for FPL USA. They're welcoming new babies. Shout out to Ryan, who did the artwork for our podcast. He just had his little baby as well. So wishing all of our FPL dads a lot of luck in the homes coming up here. And then hopefully it'll trickle over to FPL.
Yeah, and just a bit of a wet blanket of a double game week, to say the least. We still have one fixture to go. Of course, that will be Arsenal versus Crystal Palace as the final fixture to round out the 12 fixture double game week, which was game week 33. Wishing everyone who listens a happy Easter, Greek Easter, end of Passover, 420. Yeah, whatever you were celebrating over the weekend, we hope we can spice it up as we go into the midweek here, give you your FPL needs as it goes into blank game week 34. So it's all happening fast and furious at this point in the fixture ticker. We're really getting into the final days here, not just on Baby Watch, but also on Premier League Table Watch, because I know I was looking and kind of bittersweet to see that Chelsea only have 5 games left in the calendar. Some teams even only have 4 matches to play. So, yeah, it's all starting to really come to a head here. And we will be celebrating potentially the new title holders. Liverpool have a chance to win the league in game week 34. So that's something to note. And we also officially know that Southampton, see ya never, and Leicester, bye-bye Foxy Foos, because we're not going to miss either of those teams, are we? They're down to the championship, relegation bound.
Yep. Sayonara. We got some new teams coming up soon. I mean, I'm really got to have my eyes on the 5, 6, and 7 spots in the table. Oh, my goodness. I guess you could there's 4 points separate Villa in 7th and then City in 3rd. So tons to play for. A huge victory for City today. We're recording on Tuesday night. They get a stoppage time winner. Matthias Nunez, the now playing right back for Pep, comes through with his biggest and one of his seldom goals ever scored in a Citizen kit. So that was a big one, because a draw there would have really helped Chelsea. But alas, City do what they do. They usually can come through in the clutch in the last kind of 10 game weeks of the season, and we're seeing that.
Yeah, this is Pep winning time, so to speak. This is really where City just light the league on fire. They tend to really cruise towards the back half of the season and really just shift into 4th gear all the way through the finish line. That's how they've won the past 4 league titles. But safe to say Liverpool are far and away. They are well on their way to winning the Premier League this season. And Arne Slot will have a chance to do it when they face Tottenham at home, Anfield Magic. So I think let's just dive right into how double game week 33 is going. I know the listeners are well aware that we're both on Bench Boost, as are many FPL managers throughout the hashtag FPL community, specifically in the hashtag FPL USA leagues. I was looking, you have to go pretty far down the list to find your full hand worth of managers that are not using a chip. So there's, Assmans all around. There's free hits. There's some triple captainers. But there's a lot of bench boost teams. And that's where we both land. And that's where I think, otherwise, I just see a green arrow. Normally that has me in a jolly mood. But considering I'm playing, I have 12 extra. No, I have 10 extra fixtures and I have 15 guys playing to only be on 60 points. Kind of shitty. Kind of shit.
Oh, yeah. It's been just diabolically bad. I think I have 12 double game week players. I used 3 transfers going into this freaking massive double of the season. And then I hit the bench boost chip and I'm on 62 points. So not great. Not what I was really planning for the back-to-back weeks of the triple captain on Isak, who ends up with 11. Again, like he could have easily had 20. He missed a lot of big chances and had some luck go against him there. Yeah. But bench boost is just what a shitty chip. You plan and then your guys get hurt and then you're like, all right, I guess I got to waste my transfers to bring in players for this bench boost, and I end up with 9 bleeping points. So
definitely the worst chip. We agree on that, right?
Yeah, and I know you've bench boosted in game week 1 in the past, so that could be a play. You just hold out the hope. But I have seen some big bench boosts who had Bumo or Vissa, and those teams are really crushing it this week. And just again to highlight my score: 62 points. Raya in goal with 6, Munoz 5, Gvardiol 7. Kiwior, I picked him over Saliba. He's got 6 and he'll go tomorrow. Sar with a blank. Rogers 7. Mo Salah with a blank. Hit the post 3 times in that match. Doesn't come away with any points again. I bring in KDB for Foden, and Foden doesn't feature at all.
At all.
Plus 6 points. Plus 6 points. I was weighing up Bumo in that slot, but I was too tempted by the nostalgic pick of Kev, and I love KDB. I'm glad to see him. He actually played like 85 plus minutes in both the matches. Very surprising. So,
I was gonna say the X-Men's predictions for KDB were way out of whack because of the midfielders, he actually played the second most behind Bernardo Silva. So
impressive. We'll talk a little bit more about City assets looking ahead as well. And then Saka, 1 point. He's my vice captain. Oh my goodness, he should have braced in 30 minutes in that match, and he comes away with an early sub and 1 point. So you got to feel pretty bad for captainers. I obviously went with Captain Marmouche.
Do you?
I went with Marmouche as captain, and he's ending up on 2 blanks, 8 points. And Mateta with a blank. My highest scoring player on bench boost is Martinez with 4, 2 by 2. Just pathetic. Can't even get me some extra save points. He was really bad in the double game week as well. It was pretty frustrating that he let in that attempt from I don't know who scored for Newcastle.
Bernardo Silva.
No, Newcastle in the first match. It was a one that he routinely saved. So in that 4-1 shellacking of Newcastle. So I've bench boosted 2 assets from Villa, 2 assets from Newcastle, and I get a combined 9 points. So whatever. It's
not what you want to see,
but.
No. Not what you want to see.
I think the main thing was I was like, should I be pragmatic and look ahead and like maybe save a transfer, avoid KDB, and get Bumo in for my bench boost, and he could be on my bench boost. And I love playing the double game weeks. It's part of the game. It's part of the enjoyment. So now I'm just hoping that from a City perspective, Kev is like fully fit. Maybe he will feature if they get to double game week 36, and maybe I'll play him again. But Wolves at home in 35, I'm going to free hit in 34, and then maybe the double in 36. So he could be a reliable asset, but not many points. With that being said, friends of the show like Jamie Piggott, the FPL champion from FPL USA, he captained the aura that is KDB. And look, he's laughing at the bank right now because KDB outscored Salah, who scored 3 points, and Marmouche, who scored 4 points. Like, pretty fucking bare bones and pathetic.
Yeah, and I'm a Saka captainer, so, I'm sitting pretty. I think it's all looking up. If the chances fall to him like they did in the first match, I'm expecting that he ends up top scorer of the popular captaincy options. But hard to see, Bumo's 18-pointer, Vissa with an 11-pointer.
18 points?
I sold those guys weeks ago.
A 20-goal season. 20 goals.
25 goals and assists, I think.
7 million. Oh, my goodness. What an asset. What a freaking asset.
But I do want to say, I'm on 60 points. Pretty nice green arrow. I'm up around into the 500K range, which I'll take at this point of the season. Any Green Arrow is good in my book at this point.
I've been complaining too. Let me just wrap it up. I was complaining.
Brian, shut up, because you were such a jinx. You were rooting. You have so many points this season, but we have to put you on blast here because you were rooting and in everyone else's pocketbook when it comes to their FPL points this game week. I know I had Areola as part of my bench boost. West Ham cruising 1-0 into extra time, up against Southampton. They're going to be relegated. Pretty much nothing to play for.
Boosters.
And oh my God, the ice cube just slipped and it hit the nipple, and Areola was done for there. 10-pointer into 2-pointer in the blink of an eye. That one, I think he ended
on 3. He ended on 3.
All right, that's still a pretty, it was pretty big. Solid kick to the nuts. That one was. Yep. And on my bench boost team, I look through it right now, and the single game week defender that I transferred in Konate with 9 points is my top scorer at the moment.
Love that. 9-pointer, though. Very impressive.
Konate, you take that to the bank. Listen, any points I can get on the crowd, I'm for sure going to be happy about. But yeah, 60 points right now. Still have the Arsenal triple up as well as the Palace triple up to go. And
with your
let's see.
With your cap live.
Yeah, so let's see. Maybe I can get to 75 points. I would be pretty happy with that.
So what are you expecting from Saka in terms of minutes? 60? 65?
65. Yeah, they'll have.
If Arteta flogs him for more than that, I feel bad for the guy because he obviously
he's fit. No, he's clearly fit. So I just think
saying,
he needs to play into
shape. He's a target of every tackle. He's a target of every tackle, and that these other fellow Londoners are kind of coming hot from Palace and try and take him out at the knees, and they have a massive, massive opportunity in Champions League. So if Saka does play over 65 minutes, that's just bad management from Arteta. And if that injury was worse, could you imagine the scenes of why are you fucking playing Saka versus Ipswich?
Don't remind me. I know. But I will say I'm expecting rotation for Palace too, because they have the FA Cup still to play for, and that's not going to be a cakewalk. And at this point, when you're in the semis, you have dreams of lifting silverware. So I think for Ollie Glasner and the rest of that team, I'm a Mateta, Sarr, and Munoz triple up man.
Yep.
But I would expect that, probably one of Sarr, Eze, or Mateta, if not maybe two of them, are going to be rotated for this one. I would not be shocked by that one bit. So more pain in store.
Mateta double game week back to back. What do you have? 2 points last week. I think he ends on 3 points. I don't see him playing more than 52 minutes in this next match. That's going to be painful. Munoz at least got the 5-point clean sheet, and that just dwarfs his score from last double game week where he was on -1. Oh my goodness. What a
well, I didn't realize that this was going to be like such a Lion King moment here for Crystal Palace because, Mateta gets the scar, but we really thought he would be one of the stars of a double game week. But instead, it's not Hakuna Mateta. It's all violence with this guy. He's gotten kicked in the head, and now he's kicking all of us in our private parts for FPL purposes. And it's been brutal.
Pocketbooks on top of that. It's been rough. It's been a rough couple moments. And then, I think there'll be a rotation there too. It's not going to be pretty. So I think Kiwior and Raya, for me, double clean sheets. They're going to be my highest scores of this double game week. So it ain't pretty.
Love to see it.
But unless Saka comes through in his limited minutes, I own him. But yeah, I think ultimately right now my live rank is 748. So it's a decent green arrow.
Bad for you, man. Can't believe you're having one bad game
from a percentage
week.
point, 16% green arrow. I expect that to go down with the Saka captainers. But if I can get a Kiwior goal, if I could do anything in the voodoo department or take over and give him the hand of God for a header of some sort. Oh my goodness. Please, Kiwior. Come through. Come through for me tomorrow.
Safe to say, Brian, for your rank, you're hoping for a Arsenal clean sheet with maybe 3 goals. Something like that. 3-0. Sprinkle in maybe a Kiwi assist or something. That would be magical.
1-0 Kiwi goal. No Saka involvement. Saka is like 106% EO, so it'll hurt me a tiny bit. But
Like I said, you're
Yeah,
just those
you want it
6%.
all.
You can't let me have that joy.
I did also put the jinx. I was obviously talking about Areola earlier, but also in the chats, I was like, oh my goodness, I haven't owned NFO defense all year. Those guys on bench boost were all getting points. Sells keepers, Milinkovic, Nico Williams, and they luckily conceded to Spurs as well in that match. So we'll see. I was
All
hoping to
right,
be
we're
like sub
talking
500K or sub 500 in rank at this point using back-to-back chips. So it hasn't gone to schedule, but a small green is a small green, and I'm just going to have to take hits to try and really finish the season strong because I blew all my transfers for this game week. Three transfers. I got none left, so it's gonna be a little bit rough compared to other people. But all right, let's end it there,
we
Bucks.
believe.
Let's take
We believe.
let's take our first break.
Let's just end quickly with two high notes of the game week.
Oh, you got more to say?
Yeah, always, baby. I'm here. I'm rocking and rolling. Chelsea, late winners. They also leave it late. They get a result at Fulham at Craven Cottage. Probably undeserved, but a huge 3 points from a Chelsea perspective. Love to see that. Unfortunately, from an FPL perspective, not a lot of points to be had from the talismans. Palmer, Jackson, both kind of were invisible. I was surprised Jackson made it all the way past 60 minutes. He was so bad. And Palmer, I actually think he's one to watch. He was very involved. He was taking a lot of the set pieces. His goal is coming. It'll just, if you can be patient, I'm not sure if it's going to be against Everton, but I think that goal, that haul is coming. And then, shout out to our missing in action third co-host at FPL Black Wolf, Dan. We love you. We know you are the biggest Wolves supporter in the US of A. And kudos to you and your Wolves. 5 Premier League wins in a row for the first time in any of our lifetimes. So love to see that. And I saw this juicy nugget, Brian. So I'm gonna dip it in some barbecue sauce and pass it your way.
Oh my.
Listen to this. Vitor Pereira, the manager of Wolves, came in, I think 3 or 4 game weeks after Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, I saw this too.
He has 15 more points in the table than Amorim
Incredible.
does. And he gets to go to the pubs with the fans after the wins, which is the most unbelievable, like true football love story that I've seen in some time. Right? This guy is just so happy to be there.
Got to put a ring on it. Lock him up. Lock him up for a couple more seasons.
He pours it all into those 90 minutes with his Wolves, and then he goes out and he just pounds the darts and pounds back some beers at the pubs. You fucking love to see that. That is awesome.
Yeah. And we're happy Dan is happy. They're clearly not going to be in any trouble to end the season. They can be at the beach. We'll see if Cunha goes to a Brazilian beach or someplace else.
Can you imagine how red
soon.
Dan's head would be if he spent too much time at the beach? Oh, my goodness.
Good Lord. It'd be a big old target for Cunha to try and knock in a free kick. Or Pablo, so what is it, Sarabia? What's his name?
Sarabia, yeah.
Sarabia. Wow, what a free kick. Nails it. Puts the more pain in the Manchester United fans. But all right, let's end it here, Bucks. We still have some more points to go for double game week 33, but now we are going to take our first break and come back and preview the matches to come in blank game week 34. We'll be right back.
Oh yeah. We are back and we are looking ahead into our crystal ball for blank game week 34. So we want to make sure you know all the potent potables for this game week to come on the weekend. So the 4 teams, the 4 teams that doubled in game week 33, that's Arsenal, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, and Manchester City. Those 4 teams will not have a fixture in 34, so there will be a blank. There will only be 8 matches. So I know my team is absolutely screwed if not for the free hit chip. I have, like we discussed, more than 10 doublers, and so the free hit is a must. But if you're not on free hit, or even if you are, let's just go through the best matches to target for FPL haul potential. And I think at this point in the season, maybe I'm going out on a limb here, but I think we know the worst teams. We know the teams to target. And those are those 3 relegation bound sisters of the poor, sisters of the slop, pigs with lipstick on. I mean, it's Southampton, Leicester, and Ipswich are the matches where you say, vroom, vroom, baby, go. And so I think, especially for me on free hit, I'm probably going to have 9 guys going against those 2 teams. We have, let's go right into it. Newcastle hosting Ipswich. I mean, I think Isak, pretty clear captaincy opportunity here. And Newcastle in brilliant form, Ipswich not. Home match, 4-0.
Yeah, I'll go 3-0. I think a triple up on the Toon Army there makes a lot of sense. They play very well at home. They're scoring a ton of goals. They want to probably just forget what happened at Villa Park. And so I expect a pretty good bounce back performance since they're all still chasing top 5 for UCL contention. So I think you're looking at the major players. Isak, we don't know what's going to happen now with Barnes' minutes now that Gordon is coming back, but Barnes has been truly incredible. He's topping a lot of XGI. So
and Eddie Howe is out with pneumonia. So I actually think that the timing of Gordon's return is suboptimal for Gordon owners, because I think it's just going to be easy and steady as she goes, because I don't think they make any changes. They've been looking so hot. Keep Murphy on the right, keep Barnes on the left, Isak through the center. Let it go.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think the expected minutes for both Gordon and Barnes definitely go down, but there's really no reason for Barnes to lose his spot right now based on everything he's done, and based on the fact that Pisshair is an absolute idiot that he, even got that red card in the first place and jeopardized some of their advancement in cup activity, and then picks up a niggle at England training camp. So I don't think AGO deserves the start. So I'm hoping that Barnes does, but it's really hard to
Barnes
commit to one of
he's
those.
in form.
Yeah, it's hard to commit to Barnes on a free hit. So we'll talk about our drafts later, but I also love their defense. You could go Pope in goal, Trips. I'm particularly looking at Shar as just a donger that he is, and hoping that you can nail one of those 15 pointers. But there's actually, I'm also looking at a 4-4-2 potentially instead of the coveted 3-4-3 that we've been running for most of the season. Their defenders really have some great fixtures if you can pinpoint a few of those big scores. So, I think that's a great 3-0 probably there. Let's transition. Let's talk about a few of the other really relegation-bound scraps. And who else we got here? We got
let's go to Wolves.
Let's go to Wolves. Wolves at Leicester. Shout out to our boy Dan at FPL Black Wolf. He's living it up right now.
Hold on. It's Leicester at Wolves. Let's make sure we know who's the home team.
That's right. Yep.
Leicester take it on the road. They are actually scoring more goals on the road than they are at home, and they will have potentially a interim manager bounce. Though I don't know. I mean, if Ruud van Nistelrooy can't get those guys up to play, I don't know if you saw Jamie Vardy's comments. He was ashamed of the season that they've had. So like that, harsh words from the captain, but a little dose of honest medicine. I think Wolves, they get to 6 wins. Why stop at 5 when you could pour it on the Foxes and have a feast at home to the delight of your home crowds? I think this is 2-1 to Wolves.
Yeah, feast on the Foxes. You are correct there. Wolves, obviously dominant compared to a Fox. Some of the Foxes are clever, like Mr. Jamie Vardy and maybe James Madison of old, or Riyad Mahrez, but this Leicester team, they don't have it. So a double or triple up definitely makes sense for your Wolves asset. Strand Larsen's been in form, but Cunha back. Oh my goodness. Cunha, he just shits bonus points. He comes in with an 8-pointer in this match versus Manchester United this past weekend. Just picked up a cheeky assist for the Pablo Sarabia free kick masterpiece, but he still gets, all the other actions getting bonus 8 points. Take it to the bank. I would definitely start him. We still think that Cunha's probably on pens. They haven't gotten any this season for him, but he's a lock in my free hit. You got to have him versus this Leicester squad who I
And
just don't think
Strand
have it.
Larson, he's one of the most informed goal scorers in the league. I think he has 5 goals in his last
Yep.
6 games. So a lot on offering from Wolves right now. Let's see if they keep the purple patch going. Not to be outdone, let's just throw 2 more games into the mixer. Liverpool hosting Tottenham. Again, this is a chance for Liverpool to win the league with time to spare, and it will be in front of the home crowd. I mean, listen, it's all going Liverpool's way this season. And I expect, the frustration, the spuds, to go sour on the season to continue. So I think Liverpool, they have more than enough to get this result. I think they win 3-1. I'm seeing a lot of chatter about a triple up on Liverpool. I'm not sure I'm there quite yet. But I think this is another comfortable result for the home team.
Yeah, I think the main thing to call out here is, will Trent start? On free hit, you'd love to gamble on Trent. He scores the goal to get them the 3 points in their previous match, which was not great performance versus Leicester, but I think I'm definitely curious. I'm definitely curious about him, especially because non-free hitters won't be able to get to Trent. So that's a punt you might want to weigh up. Salah, he's got to score a goal very soon. You would think it would happen in this match. They actually, from Rob T FPL, they have the highest total projected goals scored at 2.9, just eclipsing 2.85 from Newcastle. So you probably are looking at Diaz and Salah, and then maybe a defender like VVD or Trent. So those are the guys that I'm considering. I don't love the Diaz pick, but he's been creating a ton of chances. Gakpo's been out of form, so if he starts on the left, then I think he's still pretty valuable. But that's something that I haven't committed yet to on my free hit in terms of having 2 Liverpool attackers. But last thing to note here, Tottenham, they're still in Europa Conference League, going for the title. So they play, I think, after game week 34.
Yeah,
and
so
you might see a lot of rotation
Thursday.
here again.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not going to see the best lineup. I know they already started protecting the legs. You saw Romero and VDV go off at halftime in their previous match, and they play Bodo Glimt. And, they should have plenty to beat the Glimters. But this year with the Spurs, they're not quite French fried, but they're not hash browns either.
Not looking good for Spuds, that's for sure.
Last one.
Any other game?
Last one. Let's throw Fulham a little bone here. I know Chelsea kind of robbed the cradle, leaving it late in the derby, but they get to play away at Southampton. Now, there are some really cheapy quality options that could be on offering from Fulham. Why did I say it like that? Fulham. It's wacky times here.
It's like you're teaching your kids how to enunciate words. Fulham.
It's Daddy. It's pronounced Fulham. Anyway, what I was going to say is that I expect that to be a really interesting match. Fulham are not quite on the beach. They still have prospects of making European competition. Southampton, they're ninth.
They're ninth. Okay, they're ninth.
They're still in touching distance. And again, Southampton, they already know their fate. They're going down. But I just think Southampton, they could be plucky. But I also really like the idea.
They've wiped some clean sheets the last couple weeks.
I know.
I've been very happy about those.
Cruel. But I'm thinking that a lot of managers on free hit might try and spike a triple Fulham defensive clean sheet points. Right now,
wow,
I'm
what are you
on
thinking?
the double.
Leno, and then Jedi Robinson and Cess?
Probably. I mean, Sessegnon's been playing right wing as a 4.1 million defender, which is crazy value. Someone to have maybe on free hit and never again. But I think all 4 of those teams provide lots of opportunities for juicy free hit options. And also for managers, who are not on their free hit. Bournemouth probably in the mix. You'd probably have a triple up on Newcastle. So it's going to be another fun and interesting game week with the chips flying all over the place. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it's a shame that you don't have Jimenez or Muniz like locked in that 9 position and on pens, because Jimenez has shown that he's on pens when he plays, but I don't know who's going to start this one. I guess Muniz did pick up a knock in the last match, so he's up in the air. So Jimenez is a one to watch. He could make my 8th attacker potentially in my lineup, but I'll definitely be looking at Leno as keeper because he gets a lot of saves as well, and he's spiked a few big hauls over the course of the last couple seasons of FPL. So I'll definitely have at least 1, maybe 2 Fulham players on my side.
All right, love it. Let's leave the conversation on the best matches to target for hauls. Let's dive deep into the mailbag. We have some great listener questions from the hashtag FPL community. Thank you for interacting and engaging with us on social media. So, Brian, who's got the first burning question for our wisdom? Or your wisdom, my idiocy.
We still like your takes for the most part, although you were the one going on and on about on last pod about captaining Salah, and that would have been a snooze fest.
So he almost outscored Marmouche. Should have captained Konate.
You don't have the stones to captain a defender. I was shouting out captaining a goalkeeper in double game week. That would have been the play. Raya could be on a 24-point haul.
You're a sick man.
Yep. All right. So at my Cayman fan, aka Matt, asks a simple, straightforward question: thoughts on the necessary Liverpool triple up and who those assets could be. So we've named Salah. He's a must on free hits or just a must for this game week. He's going to be highly captained. But who are your next 2 picks that you're considering on free hit bucks?
Well, I'll just answer the question. I don't think a triple up is essential. I actually like the idea of potentially going a little more differential. But I think my top 3 options, assuming they all start, of course, let's just put that caveat in here, would be Salah, Gakpo, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. And it's just mainly because of the haul potential. We've seen Gakpo put up, I think, 5 double-digit hauls on the season. And he's just, I don't know if you were watching the last match against Leicester.
I was not watching that closely. No.
Yeah, he's just, when he starts, he's a lot more central to what Liverpool do. And he's putting the ball on net a lot more than Luis Diaz is. So I know Luis Diaz technically is playing in the false 9 role pretty often. And presumably that means he's closer to goal. But when you actually watch the game, it's really Salah is often the closest to goal. And Gakpo is the one kind of marauding on the outer fringes of the box, just ready to shoot or cut inside. So again, we might be spoiled for options in the forward position, but that's why I like the Gakpo differential here. I think he could have a really great game week.
I completely disagree with that. I would not be going anywhere near Gakpo. Just listing out his minutes since game week 25, 0, 0, 11, 28, 0, 4, 54, 30, 59. So you are getting a player that has done well earlier in the season, but he is
what
not
are they
fit.
resting
He's not
him for
first
now?
choice. They're not resting him at all. He sucks. He's not in form. To get rid of him, I would not be going Gakpo, especially because he takes a forward slot, right?
Yeah,
forward slots fair. Right now for this game week are not great. So if you're going to go with attacker, I would be on Diaz. I don't love it, but Diaz's form is rounding into a good spot where he's not scoring a ton of goals, but he's created maybe 24, 25 chances in the last 6 game weeks. So yeah, I think it's Diaz or no attacker. I wouldn't go Szoboszlai or anybody else like that in your front line. Jota, unfortunately, has just been off of it the last, I don't know, 2 dozen game weeks. He hasn't done shit. So you're really looking at maybe Diaz and then a defender. So what do you expect between Trent, VVD? Are those the 2 picks, or you think it's too risky?
I think kind of Verge and Konate are nailed. And Allison. Anyone else's, you're kind of throwing a dart. But there's a chance we might get team leaks. So I don't know. I just don't think the Liverpool triple up is essential. I actually think
what about the overall?
I think Spurs score.
Trent has helped get the team to this championship pivotal point. Will Slot start him in the last match?
No, he's a traitor. He's going to Madrid. He hasn't re-signed his contract. Ugh. What do they owe him, if anything? They owe him nothing. He owes them everything. I mean, he's a kid from Liverpool, and
Oh my God.
he's sticking it right in and twisting it. So
If this
I
was
don't know.
about one of your Chelsea Blues players, you would be speaking a much different tune. Let me tell you
That's
that.
not
You
true.
would
When
be,
Mason Mount started, you know, getting starry eyes for the team up in Manchester, I was very consistent here. I told him where to shove it,
hmm,
right up
maybe.
his Achilles or hamstring or whatever.
Trent is a different echelon of player than poor little Mason Mount in his injury riddled
Is
career.
he?
But
I don't know. I
is he?
think when you
Wow.
look at
Wow.
the
Wow.
legacy of big clubs and players that are homegrown, I mean, it's very rare. I mean, this season we're actually seeing two, kids that are lifetime three if you include Conor Gallagher, uh, players that just grew up bleeding the colors of their home team. They rise through the academy. You got Trent, you got Marcus Rashford, and you got Conor Gallagher. All three of them probably likely going to be on different teams next season, despite putting in years of good service for big clubs. Anything else we need to address on this question? I think Trent is kind of the most interesting Liverpool player,
Yeah.
but he's also the most risky. So I think he gets minutes. I just not sure if he gets a start.
Yeah, I would definitely pay attention to the team news and just what we hear from the pressers and just see like is he fully fit, or was his last cameo where he scored a goal just building up fitness. So I think that's kind of the clarity I would need to take a punt there. But on free hit, if you pick him and he gets benched and only get a 1 pointer, that hurts right in the baby maker. So pay attention there and we'll see. But I like your Allison VVD. Like if you're gonna go that route, one of those guys, decent shout.
But I
I would
think they
probably still.
concede. I
You think so?
think Spurs get a goal. Yeah.
We'll see. I guess, like we said before, we think Spurs are going to roll out a C plus lineup. So, and by their standards, that's really like an F lineup. So,
Yeah.
we'll see.
It could
All
be
right.
ugly.
Next question is from @Bangla_FPL. A friend of the show wants to know which forwards to get for free hit 34. Is Palmer a lock as well? And this is also some banter from our #FPL USA group chat. They really are interested in the forward talk because there are a ton of options this game week. So I'm going to start with the first one. I think Isak for me is a lock in any team. Home to Ipswich. Pens hasn't been quite in form as of late, but has that high ceiling. So he's my number one lock. Who do you got next, Bucks? Who are you drafting number 2 for your forward line?
Yeah. So again, this is a question from Bangla FPL and also FPL Conte. I think Cunha is a must on free hit. I don't have him. I don't think he's very popular in the, top 10K, top 100K because he had been serving that suspension and then Wolves didn't have a double. So unless you already used your free hit and have been planning to have him here in this match, I actually think he could be a good differential captaincy option potentially with his bonus accumulation. So if he gets a return, pretty certain he's getting at least 2 bonus points. You would sign up to have 7 or 8 points for your captain right now in blank game week 34. So I think that's a good place to target for Cunha. He would be my second choice.
I rate that. Then you're really looking at a few other pretty good options. You're looking at Welbeck, Vissa, Evan Nilsson,
Chris Wood. I think
Chris Wood.
He's almost a lock for me.
Really, that's interesting. Yeah, he comes in with a goal in his last
Should have
match.
had 2
I think
goals.
that was his first goal in like 7 weeks. So very much needed. I know he missed 1 or 2 weeks with a little bit of a niggle. So, yeah, all these guys are pretty good. I mean, Welbeck is playing at home versus West Ham. I don't think they fail to impress almost every match that I see Potter on the sidelines for. They're just very mediocre and
nothing to
look
play
at them
for.
in the table. Yeah, nothing to play for. They suck. Not great. So Brighton still plucky. I hate Brighton, so I won't be going anywhere near somebody like Welbs. But João Pedro is out of the question now, I think,
he's
as well.
got a red card. So Welbeck for sure is going to be starting. likely is on penalties.
Yep.
But I just think the penalty conversation might be a little overblown. We really haven't seen many of them in the last couple game weeks, unless it was Asensio at Southampton, where he took all his vitamins and then he had to go use the potty because
Oh
he
man.
just he was shitty as hell from the set piece line. I
Poor
agree with you.
Mira.
I
Poor
think
Mira. Friend of the show. Friend of the show, Mira. I'm gonna be on her off the cuff YouTube show on Thursday. And I feel so bad for
ooh
her because she had Asensio on bench boost last week. So instead of
ouch.
having maybe 15 points from just one player on bench boost, 2 points, and was very lucky to not be on negative. So what a variance swing right there for her. But yeah, looking forward to being on her show Down Under. And I know you've been on before too. She's lovely.
Yeah, the collaboration between the FPL USA and the FPL Australia community continues to strengthen. Love to see
FPL
that. I'll
Oz.
definitely
That's right.
be tuning in for that. Just really quick, I think the forward universe really it's Isak, it's Cunha and Strand Larson. I like Evan Nilsson. I like Vissa. I, I I mean, I think beyond that, kind of you're forcing it. Wood, I don't know if I mentioned him, but yeah, that's why before when I said Gakpo, he's really someone that's not being mentioned at all, and if he gets the minutes, he's going to get chances against the Spurs, backups. So that's where I think it could be a really nice punt. But again, someone in your position that's really looking to protect rank, that guy's probably pretty far from your watch list, to say the least. Let's go to the next question.
Yeah, sorry. Lastly, I know we mentioned Raul Jimenez earlier with Muniz having the knock. Fulham are fifth for expected goals for this
I don't
game week.
like it.
So decent shout if you're really projecting that Fulham are going to show up. But I feel like Fulham are a little up and down. So I'm staying away from their attack for sure. That includes Iwobi.
Yeah, I think because they blew the chance to get the 3 points against Chelsea, that might seal their fate that they're now on the beach. And, Cancun is looking pretty nice this time of year. So I don't know what the weather's like in Portugal or, in Ibiza, but I'm sure it's also quite lovely. So, maybe they're just looking at flight plans and what's to come.
All right, next up, we have a question from at FPL Theorist, aka Scott. He
Yeah,
is
great
not
guest.
on free hit 34, so he is going with a bold strategy of free hit 36. And he is asking, is Ait Nori a higher priority to bring in than any other cheap midfielder? He's looking to move in for Bumo, one or two cheap mids, and potentially Ryan Ait Nori for a -4. So Nori's been looking pretty nice right now. I think he had 14 points versus Spurs in that up and down track affair. They got a clean sheet versus Manchester United. They've cleaned actually a few matches under the new manager. So he's almost a lock for me. At home versus Leicester, he'll be able to maraud a little bit up and down the pitch. And you do like him to at least be involved a little bit in the attack, overlapping with Cunha maybe. I think I just like the pick on free hit.
Yeah, I think it's worth a risk there, even if it costs Scott a hit. So I think he's a high upside player. And again, this is a high upside kind of dare to dream kind of fixture against Leicester at home. We're going for 6 in a row. And, again, Leicester just fired their manager. They're completely adrift and nothing to play for. And they won't even have kind of a full section of away fans because who's going to pay all that money to travel when your team's just in the shitter. So I like the pick. I think Ait Nori much more comfortable pick if you're on free hit, but I think it's probably worth making the move and using a transfer if you're someone who is just looking to navigate with free transfers.
Yeah, I'm not sure what other free kind of cheap midfielders that he's looking to use his free transfers on. So a little bit hard to weigh in on there. But for the rest of the move, Bumo is just, even away to NFO, Bumo is just an elite talisman this season. I think he's
200
second.
points.
He's second in FPL behind Mo Salah by a wide margin. But given he started at 7 million, Tony exited late, and now he's just the belle of the ball. I think for this This is the other thing that really makes me want to pick Bumo or Wood on free hit as well, because the game week goes Saturday, Sunday, and then Forest and Brentford play on fucking Thursday. So you want to have at least one player in that match for a little action, a little. Can your game week be saved? It could be a blank, but it could be double-digit haul. And right now, Brentford concede a lot of chances, so I actually might be warming up a little bit to your shout for Chris Woody. Bring the Woodman back in from the Forest. He's been in the cold for me, but he delivered so many logs in my FPL fire that I, curled up to for many game weeks. So I'm hoping maybe that could be the shout.
Next, let's go to our fearless third co-host at FPL_Blackwolf. He's been taking some time to prioritize his health, but he has not been missing a beat when it comes to running the hashtag FPL USA leagues, which he's doing an excellent job with for, I think, the 4th season running. I know, Brian, you are you in first place in FPL USA Gold?
I hope so. I got relegated from Elite last year with my terrible season. Now this season, I should be getting promoted. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I'm taking your spot in those relegation danger zones right now in FPL USA Elite. But kudos if you are living stateside and you are at all involved on social media. Please reach out to our co-host Dan at FPL_Blackwolf. He will get you involved in these leagues for the rest of the season and for next season. Definitely a really fun little contest to banter about.
I only have a 9-point lead
you're
over
fucked.
the person in second place.
Catch him.
They just went for a 78-point bench boost. Shout out to Udit Sharma. Wow, 78-point bench boost. Who does he have? Of course, Bumo on the bench.
Bumo, yeah, of course.
Good Lord.
All right, let's get into his question. He's asking who the best Uber differential is. That's like ultra differential for us Americans over here. We don't need to, use some German slang. We're USA, baby. I think, Cunha is one player that falls into that category. He's 9% owned right now.
Well,
expect that's going to be way higher.
He's going to be very high effective ownership when you look at the free hitters. So you shout out Gakpo. That's a good one. Not many people are looking at him. So you got to go a little bit off the beaten trail. So Bucks, what else do you have for us?
Well, I think Sessegnon is one. Strand Larson probably another. Yeah. And I think a Chelsea defender like Cucurella.
Yeah. Cucurella's Paella.
So, Everton right now, Beto has fallen back out of form, so they are starting Armando Broja. I'm actually thrilled about that. As a Chelsea fan. That might mean that he actually, could be sold in the summer.
He's not actually sold to them.
No, he's on loan, but God help us, he needs to be sold to the Mars FC team. Get this guy interstellar and far away from Stamford Bridge if at all possible. He stinks. And I think this is the early match in the game week. So, probably not going to be the most popular fixture to target for those on free hit. But I might be crazy enough to have a Chelsea double up in my starting 11. Who knows? That might just be too much head, heart, and passion alignment for old Bucks here.
Cuckoo probably has a higher floor or a higher ceiling than Cole Palmer over the last 10 game weeks. So
you shut your damn mouth. You shut your mouth.
That's true. He's scored way more fucking goals than Cole Palmer since the turn of the calendar, right?
He's got 3-4 goals in all competitions. He's the most informed Chelsea player in 2025 by a wide margin. Yeah. Yep. So I like that. He could be a nice differential.
Yeah, I think maybe Kluivert at home versus Manchester United. Manchester United are still in Europa as well, so they might rotate quite a bit and play a half hogwash team there. So,
United, we should just say they have the harder side of the bracket in the Europa League, so they will be playing against Real Betis. Anthony will have his chance to get revenge. Is that right, or is it Fiorentina? Betis. I don't know. Who gives a shit?
You'd have to pay me money. You
I
look
think
at
I'm
Spurs and
Champions
Manchester
League.
United, and they're so far down the Premier League table that they're still in the semis for this fucking Mickey Mouse Cup bullshit in Europe. I mean, so is Chelsea, but we don't care about this cup. I would be happy for us to lose it. Whatever.
Oh my God,
These things are
you
inconsequential.
are trying to make me mad tonight, and I'm not going to let you.
You're
I'm in a great mood.
literally gonna like celebrate if they win the Mickey Mouse Europa Conference League fucking cup.
Of course.
Gross,
And guess what?
disgusting.
I would also, if they win the Club World, win the Club World Cup in the summer, guess what? I'm also going to celebrate that because
they're at least playing real teams that you can pronounce. Like these teams that they're playing in Europa, oh my goodness, they're so bad.
You watch yourself, all right?
So
I'm going to reach through this screen.
Bad.
All right. I'm going to, in preparation for us each having a newborn in the next month, I'm going to reach through the screen and give you a little spanking on your little hiney over there. Golly. Take Chelsea's name out your damn mouth.
People are winning in contention for UCL championships and the Premier League title, and you're trying to prop up some fucking non-sequential.
Trophies matter. Winning matters. I've had this conversation before.
It
would be the first team in world football to win all the available trophies. Now, of course, it's better to just not be in these competitions, right? You'd rather just stay in the Champions League. But listen, you're in the competition. Why not go and win it? Let's go to our last question before I physically throttle my co-host.
If you had a choice, would you rather make Champions League next year or win this fucking silver plate that we're going to get from some random country in Switzerland?
No, you need both.
The answer is not both. I'm asking you to choose one. Choose one.
Win the Conference League.
Over making UCL next year? You are smoking something.
I'll tell you why.
That is illegal in the streets of New York.
I'll tell you why, and it's an important distinction because
they get some
if
kind
they
of
make Champions League, there are
bullshit.
financial fair play implications that are a lot harsher.
Yeah, you're only 3 seasons straight of negative 200 mil profit margins. Is that what we're looking at?
Listen, they need
business operating expenses.
They need both. This is not an A or B situation. This is an all or nothing thing.
You need to unretire
fifth
from
place.
Daddy daycare, and you need to go run this Chelsea Blues team. We need to kick out these other Americans in the boardroom over there.
Call me up. I have a lot of sponsorship ideas for the next season's jersey.
Check out Bucks' LinkedIn.
Yeah, come on. I know everyone. Let's go to the final question at the Run CMC, aka Corey, is asking about any spicy free hit assets we'd pick as kind of a risky play. Throw caution to the wind. I think, Trent is the one that jumps out just reading this question out loud. He won't be template. He could be mega differential. Brian, I actually want to give you credit. You shouted out Shar earlier. I think he's a little interesting. He's like a habanero kind of pick.
People are like treating Trippier like he's still like a relevant player in the Premier League, and he's just a fucking dude now. Like he only gets XA from his set pieces. So I think when you're looking at like dong potential, 15-pointer, Shar is somebody who is right up there. So that's where I would be going. I mean, how many assists does Trips even have this season? 1? Maybe 2?
Yeah, he stinks. Yeah. I will say though, I think the differential might actually be more in formation than in any individual player, because I think there could be a crazy way to play this where you go like the Christmas tree style and you actually start 5 defenders. Again, just trying to pile on points on points.
The football has been a little pathetic recently.
Say that again?
Yeah, so maybe the football has been a little bit pathetic recently. So
sloppy.
More clean sheets than we've been noting. So Shar, 4 goals, 1 assist on the season. So I do love that as a pick over Trips.
And he's been injured for some of it too. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody else, I think same game though. I think Barnes is somebody who, if people are scared of his minutes and not maybe starting, but he's a player that could easily get a brace, given his form in the opponent. So if you're scared off of him, that could be a way to go differential. I know he delivered mega points for our guy Eamon, aka at Holy Pinto. 27 points in the double game week 32 that he brought him
Brian,
in for wild
can I ask
card.
you a question? Am I crazy to still rate Murphy above Barnes? Murphy currently has Barnes' spot in my free hit team.
I would say that's a tough one. Murph Dog is going to play 65 minutes, but that's probably how many I expect out of Barnes as well. So the higher floor for Murphy, I would say, but a higher ceiling for somebody like Barnes. Because Barnes
All
shoots
right.
on sight. He doesn't pass. He doesn't pass very often. He had a brilliant assist, actually, to whoever scored the goal. I forget
Gimares,
for.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gimares.
But like in general, I feel like Barnes is like shoot first, whereas Murphy's passing quite a bit and will put in crosses. So the higher brace potential is with Barnes if he's going to start.
Okay, I like that. Let's leave the conversation there. Let's dive into our final segment. We both
Plus,
have.
actually, you know what, Bucks? You're right. Plus, just thinking about it as well, think about people who are not on free hit this week. They would have most likely have kept Jacob Murphy. So the differential is most likely going to be Barnes. So if you're on free hit, you almost like should go Barnes versus the field.
Okay, interesting. That's good perspective. I might have to go back in and get some tinkering done after this episode. Let's
It's funny
leave
that
it.
we're both on free hit though, and like money doesn't matter. There you have like 10, 15 million extra in the bank because there's no Holland. You can fit everybody in. There's only like one defender that you'll have over 6 million on your side. You know, the rest are easy to fit. So that part of
Yeah,
it, at
it's
least there's
really.
no stress. I haven't been like looking at price changes every day and be like, oh, I need to fit these guys. And it's like, nah, don't worry. We can get Sess as a starter at 4.1 and enables your whole team.
Yeah, again, I think most of the variety on free hit is going to come down to the formation. Is it going to be 4-4-2? Is it going to go 4-3-3? Kind of, there's a lot of different ways to skin the cat in blank game week 34. And, the 3-4-3 that's been dominant so far this season might actually go out of style for those managers looking to kind of spike some differential hauls in blank game week 34. I think with that's been quite a lot of chatter about the unfinished double game week 33 and the blank game week to come this weekend. Let's close out with our final segment. Let's be consistent. We got transfer plans and captaincy shouts. What do we got here? Free hit for
Well,
both of us. No
yeah, free hit
transfer
for
talk.
both of us. Let's go through your free hit team quick from back to front. You just highlighted you had a few guys in the midfield, so let's just go through our drafts at this moment. I'll be honest, I have spent maybe 5 minutes doing a draft. Been pretty busy with life and work, and so I actually haven't kind of dived too deep into what I'm going to do. But this has been helpful to kind of think of some of the assets across the game that are super important. So let's run through your free hit team, Bucks.
Yeah, I'm not at all nailed, but I'm just in a 3-4-3 for now for planning purposes. Up top, I got Isak as my captain, alongside Cunha, my vice, and Chris Wood as my third forward. In the midfield, I have Salah, Palmer, Luis Diaz, and Jacob Murphy.
No, you
I've
do have
also
Diaz in there.
I do for
We're going
now, but
back and
like I
forth.
said, I've been tinkering with
Fair.
changing him out. I like the idea of going Clivert against potentially a rotated Manchester United team. Again, there's a real easy strategy where you could follow where you just have 7 penalty kick takers.
Yep.
And that's definitely on the table and something that could be appealing to many managers. I have Chris Wood in. I also tinkered with having Strand Larson in. But again, there's just too many picks, and I'm nowhere near nailed. So in the back line, I have Livermento, Nori, Robinson, and Leno in goal. My backup goalie I have right now is Allison, and I have Alanga, Sessignon, and Cucurella on my bench. But I've also looked at it with having triple Fulham defense. I've also looked at it as having triple.
Pain.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just opening
Going
myself
for
to
it.
all different avenues. The
Yeah.
only thing I have set in stone, I think, is that I'm either going to be on Salah or Isak captain.
Yep.
Right now, I have
Right there with
Isak
you.
with the armband.
Yeah, right there with you. Those two are going to be essential on free hits. I'll probably go on Mo this game weekend. Just hope that they can dismantle a Tottenham team that's going to be rotating and to be able to clinch the title in front of the home
At
fans.
home is important.
And
It
especially
has
because
mattered.
when they won the Premier League title previously, they were no fans in the stands. It was the COVID year. So this is a big moment for the entire club. So I'll be going most likely with Mocap. He's due. You just hope that he can convert one of his chances. I don't see him putting on like a hat trick type of performance, but he's due a goal. And these Tottenham players, they love to dangle a fucking leg in the box. Easy pen coming up. We know that to be true. So my team right now, just on a quick draft, I got Allison in goal, Shar, Nori, Sess. Midfield, Bumo, Sala, Diaz, Palmer. And then up top, I have Chris Wood, Isak, and Cunha. So I'll probably tinker around a little bit more. I've been thinking, though, man, I do really like some of the defenders since the matchups are so lopsided in a few of these. So 4-4-2, definitely viable. I'm not married to Evan Nilsson as a pick. I don't like taking the striker who's not on pens, but Isak Cunha seems like it's going to be in every single team. So your differential is probably that third forward.
Wood
do I
over
dare
Evan
go for a
Nilsson.
4-3-3? 4-3-3? So boring.
Not too many defenders. It's big at the back is dead since I became one of the dad bod aficionados here in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
All right,
so
let's get out of here.
There's so much tinkering to be done. Check out your timeline, talk to your friends, get some good insights. But no matter what, I am all day going to the bank with Shar over trips. That's my lock of the century in my team right now.
All right, you heard it here first. Top 750 manager in the world is going Shar as locked in his starting 11 for free hit blank game week 34. That's been a podcast.
Don't quote me on that. It's locked with
it's been quoted.
Still in the pocket.
Clip it. We're clipping it. Put it into the AI tracker. Get it up on YouTube. Everyone, make sure to like and follow at FPL USA Press Play on social media. If you're so kind, you can give us a follow and also follow along for us hosts. I'm Bucks. You can find me on socials at FPL USA Bucks. And for Brian, who's having a dream season and we want to keep it going. Top
only a couple more game
500
left,
in the world is in his near-term sights. I think you're going to finish on a triple-digit score, which will be by far the best in the Podcast Coast's history. You're at FPL USA. Brian, get us out of here. Say so long to our listeners.
Yeah, that's right. And just want to note we're starting to put more videos up on our YouTube channel. I think that's something that during my paternity leave, going to learn how to do a few more reels and shorts and all that stuff. But if you could follow us there and subscribe to us at FPL USA Press Play, that would be great. We're going to have more video content out next season as well. So appreciate you guys engaging with us on social and giving us a listen. We'll talk soon, and drop us any questions on X as well. If you are looking at free hit drafts, you can slide in our DMs or, on our podcast account. We're happy to answer some of those questions as the week progresses as well. Best of luck in blank game week 34, and especially for those on free hit, let's get 100 spot. Give me 100 points.
Come on, let's get some points. Let's get some points. Best of luck this weekend. Green arrows to all, and we hope you're having a great start to your spring. All love.